Okay, we're on the last bits now. So task 6, last section, creating macros. And macros are basically a recorded set of instructions which the computer carries out. So macros are a bit like programming, but you know, they're a lot easier to create for us. So here are the requirements. It's in task 6, and for a pass you only do part A, for a merit only part B, and for a distinction we do B, C and D. So let's have a look at what we have to do for a B, C and D. So we create macro that will automate a sequence of at least 2 tasks, and for a distinction we have to create another macro. Okay, so for a distinction we need 2 macros, and the example given here that it resets the invoice sheet ready for entering details of a new customer. And the example given here is one that will save and then print out the invoice. Okay, we'll come back and have a look at this. It's just because if you set it up and then test it, it just keeps printing your invoice, which is a bit of a waste of paper, but maybe we can make it so that it goes to print preview or something like that. Okay, so let's do this one where what this is saying is, you know, when we've entered like a new customer over here, then what happens is when the next person comes along, we have to delete this, delete this, delete this, and then delete everything in here and delete everything in here and reset it all to a brand new invoice. So instead of doing that, we're going to record a macro, so record a set of instructions which basically do the clearing one after the other. So to do any kind of recording of macros, you need this developer ribbon at the top, and if you don't have the developer ribbon, then you need to click on the Excel home button here, and then you have to go to Excel options and make sure you've chosen popular here, and then you say show developer tab. Okay, so that's what you need to choose to ensure that this developer ribbon shows, because that's the one which says the word macro on it, and that's what we're trying to do. So I'm going to click on record macro, so it's actually better to watch this video before you do anything and click anywhere else, but just watch it through, because once I've clicked on that, every single click that I make on the spreadsheet and every little change I make is going to be recorded. Okay, so I have to be absolutely clear about what it is I'm going to do. And I've already run through this once, so it's going to hopefully go very smoothly. So I just click on record macro. I need to give it a name, so this is going to be called clear invoice, and or something meaningful like that. No spaces whatsoever, and you can give it a description: reset the invoice ready for new customer. Okay, and then say OK. Alright, now from this moment onwards, the only button I've got at the top is stop recording. Okay, so everything I click on now, or any changes I make, are going to be recorded. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight this, press delete, highlight that, press delete in case I had anything in there, highlight that, press delete, and then highlight all of these here and delete, and highlight the numbers. That's the only other place I can type, and delete. And then the last thing I need to do is be clicked here, ready to type in the new customer name. Okay, once I'm happy with that, I click on stop recording. Okay, now, so what I just did is I just took the steps to clear all of the cells where the user can type something in. So let's just have a look at macros, and that's the name of my macro, the one that I've recorded, and let's go to options here. Okay, now on the task it asks you to set this macro so that it can be run with a keyboard shortcut. So it says, you know, if you want to run this set of instructions in one go, what shortcut would you like me to use? You know, the control key plus what? So I'm going to use I'm going to use the N key, but you can use any sensible key. So that's just control N for a new invoice, and then I'm just going to say OK, and then I'm just going to oh well, I can just run it to get back to this sheet. Okay, so Control N is the thing that should make this work. So let's just type in some random stuff here and some random things here, as if this was a new customer. So I'm just checking my macro to make sure it works. And let's just choose some stock codes, and then let's order some. Okay, so there's my new invoice. So next customer comes along and I want to clear it all, and all I do is I hold down Control, press N, and there it is, ready for the new customer. Okay, now the next thing you need to do is we have to make a button for it, but before we do that, I'm going to ask you to go back into macros, and I'm going to ask you to click on edit for that macro, because the other thing that you need to do is you're going to actually print out this code. Okay, this is the macro code, and identify 3 things that it's actually doing. Okay, so there's the name of my macro, there's the description, so obviously it means that the things that have got a little apostrophe before them are just comments in the programming code, and they don't actually do anything. This bit here, range B1 C3 dot select, that means highlight those cells. And then it says selection dot clear contents, and that means whatever you've selected, whatever your selection is at the moment, clear the contents, not the formatting or pound signs or anything like that, just the things that you've written in them. And then it does the same for C4, etc. And then you've got these weird things like active window dot small scroll down equals 4. And basically I had to scroll down to find the other cells. You don't have to do this, but actually this command isn't necessary. So when I said that whatever you click on it will record, well, the active window scroll bit are the things that are unnecessary. They're just because the computer doesn't need to scroll to do any deleting. It's only human beings, because we can't see what's at the bottom of the sheet. So that's my macro code. So I'm just going to save that, and then we need to print this out. Okay, and when after you've printed it out, you need to actually comment on it to explain what some of these instructions are doing, and I'll show you what that looks like in the next video.